How's it going out there, world of YouTube and members of the World Wide Web? This is Darth Buttkicker of Buttkicker Gaming. I know before you make fun of the name, I don't care. uh, Today's video is an introduction to Queen's Blade Limit Break. What is it? What can you expect? Well, Queen's Blade is actually a Japanese combat anime novel and TV series that actually they made into a mobile game slash web browser game. I don't play games on mobile. I do this particular one on PC, so that's where we are going to load it up from. How do you get there? Well, quite simply, all you got to do is type in Queen's Blade Limit Break, and then you just click on Queen's Blade Limit Break Game Start G123 and it will load up the game. I'm not going to do that. I have it saved to my quick start bar, which you can also do. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to load up my game real quick. And right away you can see that based on the screen size that it is actually it's a mobile game that works on PC, which the HTML5 web browser basically it's a web browser game. Works on PC. I prefer to play it on PC, even though it looks like this. I have no problems with that, and if you don't either, which you probably shouldn't, it just depends on the size of your screen and how big you like to see it. But what kind of game is this? In all honesty, this is not an RPG. Okay, this is not a game where you create a character and you invest in one character to gear him out with various things, including cosmetics such as wings, uh, fantastical armor. It's not an RPG. Okay, that's not what you're going to find here. This is a very casual, and I'm going to stress casual, idle web browser game, mobile game. This is not a game where you're going to go in and spend, let's say, just all day playing. It is possible to do, depending upon your PvP appetite, but it's not a game that you're going to invest hours every day into. It's very casual and it is idle. I almost say RPG, but it's not an RPG. It has remnants of card collecting, tactical, not really sure what they call that, turn-based game. And that's because you build a team of warriors. They have specific skills, but once you hit battle, it pretty much plays out according to a set parameter. It's a very visual, highly hyper-visual, hyper-sexual game. And what do I mean by that? Well, let's take a look at some of the artwork, some of the character models, and right away you notice that there are no men in this game. It's all women. This is a traditional Japanese anime, female anime. It's very direct. What do I mean by hypersexual? Well, let's click on one of the tunes. Right away you can start to see some of the visuals. I personally have no problems with the visuals. Yeah, I live in the US. Japan doesn't recognize to the degree that we do the objectification of women. They probably have feminists there that would love to complain, but they don't have the voice that they do here in the US. I have no problems with stuff like this. It's very, the artwork is very well done. I mean, it's very colorful, especially if you have high definition screens. But again, there are no men characters in this game. It's all female-driven anime. Let's back out here, take a look at a few more. This one's pretty tame. This one is one of my favorite models. You can see she's got the seashell covering her nipples. But it's not just this. This game has a lot of aspects to it, like skins and character models. In here, it's a little more direct. They call them spicy poses for skins. And I'm going to click on one spicy pose just to give you an idea of what it looks like, because I have it. And you can see the new pose that she has and the animation that it has. It's very provocative, if that's the term that you want to use. I don't care for the term. I like what I see. Call me a typical male, but there are a lot of women who kind of like the anime version of this too, especially Asian, and that's just the way that it is. I read the other day that this game really is popular amongst young adults. I'm pretty sure that it's popular with younger kids too, and a little bit of the older age brackets as well, but I can see why they would make that claim. I'm going to click on one of the newer characters just to give you another idea of what we're talking about here, and how this is just how Japanese anime is done. It looks like she has balloons or maybe latex on her boobs. It's just kind of like body paint, if you will. This is what the character normally looks like, and then you have the spicy pose available, which is much more risque. You can see the torn up clothing. That's just how they do things there. I personally like it. I'm not a perv. If anybody out there wants to say that, you know, it is what it is. Again, I'm in the US, so we'll probably get a lot of US based comments. Sound off in the comment section if you are okay with the fact that there's no men in this particular game. It's all women, and it is stylized. Again, you see the brackets that kind of cater to the mobile genre. As I mentioned earlier, I don't play mobile gaming. I prefer PC gaming, and I'm a controller gamer. I'm not really a keyboard and mouse kind of gamer. But I'm going to give you an overview here. It has a lot of the traditional things you might see in a mobile game, though. You have your in-game currency, diamonds, jewels, rubies, however other games want to call it. They call them diamonds here. I have quite a few of them. I've actually had hundreds of thousands, and I've only been playing the game a few months. So I think that's an important call out. I've only been playing this game for a little over 2 months now, a few days over 2 months. The game is relatively new, okay? Meaning that it didn't just come out, but it did come out a few months ago. This is my power level at the top. It's a little over 1 million. This is very low. That's largely in part because I haven't done some of the things I need to do. I should probably have about 2 million power right now, and over the course of the next few videos you will probably see why. But off to the left you have your purchasing, which is pretty common in a lot of mobile games. Off to the right you will see, typically these are events. Basically these are in-game events that happen, and some of them require money, some of them require gems. I'm not going to go too much in depth today in this particular video. This is just an overview that Queen's Blade Limit Break is a mobile game by nature, playable on PC. It's not an RPG, I want to reiterate that. It is very fun to play, but it is also very casual. As I mentioned in the outset of the video, it's not something you're going to play for hours on end unless you're a PvP player. And I'm going to make a lot of subsequent videos to this explaining various aspects of the game. But here in the middle you have the Spring Temple Guild. There are guilds in here, and they do have a function that's actually pretty cool. You have mini games. Summon is something you are going to see in all mobile games nowadays, and that's summoning various tunes. You can see again some of the provocative, awesome anime art that goes into this. And if you are a fan of any kind of Japanese anime, you know that they take their art seriously. And these are very, and I don't have the best screen available, but they do have, they take their art seriously. These are special gems, and I have a lot of regular gems. It has a lot of the traditional things that you're going to see at a mobile game, purchasing. Over here you have a friends list that you can make with friends, send gifts out. You have mail. We'll talk about what you can claim through the mail. In this particular game, power rankings, world, you have the chat bubble that has the world, guild, private, pretty much a lot of the annoying crap that you might see in terms of world and chat. But the chat in this game, I've noticed, has been very tame. Probably because, again, it's not, I don't think it's a huge hit. But I'll elaborate on what that means in a future video. You have your adventure, which is technically your campaign. You have your shop, we'll go into that later. You have a bag where a lot of your stuff is stored. For the purposes of this game, I knew I wanted to start doing videos, so I've been stacking a lot of particular items in my inventory, and I haven't been leveling up my power because I kind of want to go through some of this stuff with you guys. I've done some searching. Here in the US, I don't find a lot of videos being made on Queen Blade. My understanding is that there is a big Reddit that has been started for this game because people are curious, and I hope to not make a living like these videos. I'm not monetized on YouTube or any other platform, but I am starting to realize the value of making videos, and I like making videos on odd games that people don't generally cover 24/7, like let's say Raid Shadow Legends, where they got 500,000 people covering it and they make a decent chunk of change doing it. Do I find the game fun? Because of where I am at in life today, this is very tame and very casual on a lot of fronts. One, it's very casual and tame on your wallet. Does not require a lot of money to be successful. Some people are going to disagree with that, and you can sound off in the comments what you found. It does have a pay to win element, but it's not as pronounced in a lot of other games, and I think that has to do with the fact that this isn't a game that you're going to log in and play for hours on end. Okay, it has activities, has things to do, but once you do them, that's pretty much it, unless you want to keep up on power rankings and the PvP aspect of it, which I'll show you here, which they call it the arena, where you fight other players via tickets, and that's really where you're going to kind of keep logging in to fight, and some other areas that I can help you through that will give you something to do every day in the game. Is that to say that this game is boring and that there's nothing to do? No, that's not what I'm saying. But I want to give you a more realistic view of what this particular game is and what to expect. And in some of these upcoming videos where I start to cover aspects of the game, like the shop, which is another set of activities and various other things that you can do, the various events that you can do here, what they all mean, the best way to go about playing these events, because there is a best way. Playing events and doing things in this game give you currency, and you really want to use your currency to the best option available, including the guild skills and various things like that. So I like the game. I like the visualization of the warriors. I like the stylization of their so-called spicy poses, because they are spicy and they don't really pull a whole lot of punches when it comes to borderlining what some may view appropriate and not appropriate. You can gear out your toons, your characters, but like I said, it's more of a card collecting where you're going to build teams of characters for various purposes. And they have a lot of toons. The game has actually come and released quite a few toons since it's been released a few months ago in these various categories, where they started off with just a few and have added quite a few. Some of the toons are only available in events, i.e. summoning, or you can win shards in events, which is very familiar to people who are no stranger to how these games work. And if you're not familiar, don't worry, we're going to cover them. But I want to interrupt just for a second to state something that's of great importance. And I'm going to state this through a lot of videos as I get them done and posted, and that is when you first load up this game, and as with a lot of games, you will typically start out with a guest account. It's going to give you an ID, blah, blah, blah. You can click on the portrait up here. It's going to give you an ID. You can change your name, your user ID. You're going to have a server just like everything else. The issue is that anybody who's ever played these games where you have a guest account, you are going to have to link it to some sort of platform so that you don't lose it. So the recommendation is as soon as you load up this game and you go through the tutorial missions that kind of explain various functions of the game, if it's something that you think that you're going to like, definitely link it. Now, how do you do that? Well, you can kind of see off to the right this little G bubble. You're going to click on that. And this is one of the first things you should do. Even if you think that you don't like the game now, you should probably do this. As soon as you load up the game, you're going to want to change your guest account and link it so that you don't lose it. You're going to come over to the left here when it loads up, and you're going to see linkage. Now, you guessed it. You're going to click on it, and then you're going to click the flat platform. Sorry that I'm drinking coffee, Starbucks at the time. You're going to want to link it to Facebook, Twitter, Google, Apple, whatever the hell line is. I link it to my Google account. I think Google's a little more secure and better off linking than maybe even a Facebook or a Twitter. Link your account to an ID so that if, let's say you do spend 99 cents or even $5 on your first purchase and you don't play it again for a few months, you don't want that $5 going to waste, because they will purge your account. They will end up purging your guest account, regardless of how much you've spent. I don't know what the limitations on purging that is, but when you first load up the game, they will encourage you to link your game to a guest account. Again, do it off to the right here, the G, click link, and link it to an account. That way, any progress you save, as I get more videos posted, you may decide that, hey, I kind of like even though it is casual, I kind of like playing the various aspects of it. I don't have to think too hard about it. I don't have to worry about massive PvP engagements. And I can play something that takes my mind off of the world. Maybe you work from home like me, and you like having a separate screen up where you might go through various activities, including building up your warriors, because that's exactly what you're going to have to do to make them more powerful. But we'll cover all that in future videos. But I wanted to kind of give a brief introduction to Queen's Blade Limit Break. It says unlimited, but it's technically a Japanese anime action series, comics, novels. It's very big apparently over there, that they made into a web browser game. So it is a Japanese company. What I'd like you to do is, if you play this game, let me know in the comment section down below, and give me a brief, just brief, whether or not you actually like it, because it is very casual. And a lot of people come in and go, they leave, they don't give it a chance, because you do have to level up your character to unlock various aspects of the game. They really don't give it a chance. It's not very heavy on the pay to win. It can be, but I've noticed it somewhat casual. So sound off in the comment section if you actually play it, what you think of it. And I actually want to hear from a few of you. Did you quit, and why? Was it too casual? Did you think it was too pay to win? Did you just not find enough content? Because maybe you just didn't understand the content. There are things to do, mini games, guild bosses, these events I really want to get into in some future videos, because it gives you currency that helps you out in playing the game. You know, the market, like everybody has markets where you can buy various things. And what you really didn't like about it, to give me an idea of maybe areas that I can make videos on to help maybe draw some of you guys back in. Maybe it just wasn't to you. Maybe you just didn't like the hypersexual aspect of the game. I mean, I'm just curious. I just want to kind of hear from what you think. Give it a try, guys. I really like the casualness of it. PvP doesn't bother me. I'm not hyper competitive in that particular aspect. And you can do really well in PvP, even if you decide not to spend money. We'll cover that in a PvP video, but just wanted to give an introduction. Download the game, give it a try, so that we can kind of go through some of these, get some more people into the game. I think that you might actually like it if you're not somebody who's hyper competitive in terms of PvP per se. But I've never found myself in a instance where PvP was my main focus in this game. I just like it because it's casual. I can build my tunes, and there's no pressure to do so. Thanks for listening to my rambling, guys. I really do appreciate it. If you do want to see more content, and I mean explanations of various functions of this game, like and subscribe to the channel, and I'll continue to do so, even though, keep in mind, I am not monetized on YouTube. I'm not some star, and I'm not trying to build a name for myself. I'm just trying to get a few videos out there on some oddities, help people decide whether or not they actually like a game, and why they should actually continue playing it. Okay, thanks, guys.